Let's rock and roll. Thank you so very much for being here with me. This is actually a pretty cool interview. Let's see what he's got to say.
The worst president in human history.
That's a load of shit.
But what if, for some strange reason, Donald Trump wants to lose his war in Iran? What if he wants the American empire to collapse? What if Donald Trump wants to destroy the global economy? Then he'd be a genius, right? But if he actually wants to destroy the American empire, then the man is the greatest American president ever, okay? Okay, so we're gonna have a fun class today, and we're gonna make the argument that in fact, Donald Trump is a genius. That in fact, all this chaos is purposeful.
You know, I hate to say it, but told you so, goddammit. I've been saying this since the beginning. This is for all you panicans out here, okay? And I'm not saying that this is 100% true, okay? But there's another level of game being played here that I don't think we're fully understanding or comprehending because of everything that is going on. But let's go.
That there's actually a plan behind all this, okay? That's the argument I want to make to you today. Okay, so what is the plan? What is going on here? All right, so first thing to notice is that the world gets 20%, okay? 20% of its oil from the Middle East, okay? Primarily going to East Asia. So India gets about 6% of its oil from the Middle East. Japan gets 75% of its oil from the Middle East. So East Asia is heavily dependent on Middle East oil, okay? But as you can see, it also goes to Europe as well. And then also to the United States. All right, so the world is dependent on the GCC oil. If this war continues, if ground forces are used, then all the oil from the Middle East collapses. And JP Morgan has come out and said that by mid-April, the world will run out of oil. Okay? So this is a disaster for the world.
I don't believe that for 1 second.
It's just much more than energy needs, okay? So this...
That's true. There's fertilizer, a lot of fertilizer comes out of that area. There's a lot of shit that goes on. You know what I mean? So it's not just oil. I'm going to say...
Just follow after me. Gonna do the two-step and cowboy boots. Grab a sweetheart and spin out with them. Do the pull down and get back to the left now and dip.
That you're going to see a lot of nationalism come back into play, and you're going to see people become a lot more isolated. Things are going to become more strict when it comes to immigration, trade, tension escalations, like everybody's going to be looking out for everybody, or everybody's going to be looking out for themselves, I think is what's going to happen here. And I think it needs to happen for a little bit, until we can figure out what's going on with the UN, which is a load of shit. It's just the United Nations. It's falling apart right now. That's why we're pulling out of it. That's why we're not back in the EU anymore, okay? Because it was shit to begin with. Before that, it was the League of Nations. And then they're like, oh, we're going to keep nations in there, guys, but we're just going to call it United Nations. Just, okay, know your history. Let's go.
Because Iran is constraining movement in the Strait of Hormuz, we're seeing 7 major shortages, okay? So yes, we know oil and LNG are being stopped, okay? But actually the problem is much worse, because look at phosphate, ammonium, sulfur, urea. This is food production, okay? Primarily used for fertilizers. In other words, if this war persists, not only will countries run out of energy, they'll also run out of food. Okay? All right, food. Okay, so nitrogen is important for fertilizers. Okay? You need nitrogen for fertilizers. And as you can, and what this map tells you is that.
So you mean to tell me with all this hippie, why can't we be friends, save the world that they've perpetuated? I mean, Gargamel literally crashed out in the middle of a congressional hearing over this whole green, big, better green project or whatever I don't know. It's stupid. The climate crisis, they call me a climate crisis denier or whatever. I don't fucking care. What I know is that it's a load of shit too. Why aren't we recycling our own shit and making our own fertilizers? I say this all the time. I'm like, people should be their own farm. Like, they should be working just enough to make money and save to retire or whatever, but a majority of their stuff should be grown at home. You know, they should be able to afford a cow and some chickens. You know what I'm saying? Some pigs if they want to have some pigs. You know, there's enough land for everybody to have a little piece of the pie. You know, so, but all right, back. I'm digressing. Let's go.
If you are in the blue or the light blue, it means you produce more nitrogen than you need, so you export it. If you are not in the blue, then you're kind of screwed, okay? So basically, this area especially, this area, okay? Europe is some parts of Europe, okay? So
we'll be all right,
now they need more nitrogen. And again, before they were getting a lot of nitrogen, ammonia, from the Middle East. And now, where are they forced to get the nitrogen? From here and from here.
Yeah.
Okay?
From
so again, yes, I know Donald Trump's losing this war in the Middle East, but in the long term, America stands to benefit.
What?
The last thing I want to look at is water. Okay? Water is important because water tells us which areas are the...
Hey, listen, this is alleged, by the way. This is just a prediction. You know, he's a chalkboard wizard. All right. This guy, I listened to all of his interviews. I like a lot of what he says, you know, but it's pretty good.
Most stable. Basically, if you have a lot of water, you're less prone to conflict. But if you don't have that much water, then you're prone to conflict, okay? So we look at, so if you're in a dark blue, you're good, okay? Nothing to worry about. If you are in the light blue, you are in a lot of trouble, okay? So if we look at this area, North America, pretty stable because lots and lots of fresh water, okay? If you look at Russia, pretty stable, lots and lots of fresh water. But if you're Africa, you're in a lot of trouble. If you're Europe, you're in a lot of trouble. If you are Middle East, you're in a lot of trouble.
This reminds me of like 1984, like how the world was like all separated. It was like 3 super states. Doesn't that remind you of it? I don't know.
If you are Southeast Asia, you are not in that much trouble, but you are in some trouble, okay? So we already see how this map tells us where in the future, basically Russia and the United States, North America, are the most stable parts of the world with the most resources. And therefore, they are the most resilient, the most stable, okay?
And we also have a pretty good, we have oceans on either side. You know what I mean? And we have 2 mountain ranges that protect us too as well. So it's kind of weird how America's set up, you know. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you're thinking. Oh, hey, you're still here. Thank you so very much. YouTube says I need a call to action. So if you could like, share, subscribe, maybe click the link down in the description. All right, back to the show. Bye, guys. I got to go. Bye.
Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. But my question is this. If he were in the Epstein files, wouldn't Joe Biden and his Attorney General, Merrick Garland, wouldn't they have exposed this during the 4 years they were in office when they had access to all the Epstein files?
You know, and it shouldn't take a professor to bring this to the light to everybody. Where the fuck this guy came from, I don't know. You know, but at the same time, a lot of what he says makes sense in my eyes. Okay. And if it makes sense in your eyes, share this out. Do you think somebody's going to like it?
People also forget that Donald Trump is hated by the elite. He was hated by Jeffrey Epstein. Why? Because he didn't play by their rules. He wasn't part of the club, right? So you look at all these people who are flying to Epstein Island: Bill Clinton, Bill Gates, Larry Summers, Steven Pinker. Okay, just the most elite in politics, in finance, and in academia. And Donald Trump, maybe he did go, but he wasn't part of that club, right? So Donald Trump was an outsider for most of his life. Like, look, if you go back to the 80s and you were to survey like the most powerful man in New York City, okay? The people who actually ran New York City, every one of them would say, Donald Trump, this guy's a clown. He's a clown. He's stupid. He's useless. He's bankrupt. It's just his dad's money, okay? He's playing with his dad's money. So Donald Trump has always been an outsider. He's always felt persecuted.
I can't disagree with that. Can you? I don't have anything to say about it. There is little commentary. I mean, I'm just going to bump through these. And if you want to leave a comment, leave a comment. I mean, I think he's spot on. Bravo, Professor. Bravo. Keep up the good work. That's for sure. I couldn't disagree with any of this statements. And a lot of the people think, you know, and that's what they think. And as soon as the public sees that perception of you, it's really hard to get away from it, right? So, like, for example, Michael Jackson and being a pedophile. I don't think that he was. I don't think anything like that happened. I think there was a lot more involved with it. I think that he didn't want to play by their rules, just like Trump didn't want to play by the rules. And he was always an outsider. And this is what happened. And now look at what they call Trump. He's going to be, everybody's going to remember him as that. Everybody that hates him for whatever fucking reason, there's no reason. That's why they hate him. But
only interested in money doesn't really hold water. So here's my theory of Donald Trump. And again, let me know if you have any questions, okay?
Right.
But he believes in his heart he is on a mission from God to save America.
That is very true. That is very, very true. And he's said that very many of times. And I think so too. For other reasons that I don't want to talk about tonight, we'll talk about it on another night, but I agree with this 100%.
That's literally what he believes. He believes every day when he's alone in the bedroom doing Twitter or watching Fox News, God is whispering in his ear. He feels he has a divine connection to God that no one else does. He feels that he's almost like Jesus, where he's on a secret messianic mission that only he understands, but no one else does. But that's the curse that he has to suffer in order to save America. That's what he believes, right? And then the question then is, what's his mission then?
To make America the greatest goddamn country on the planet. That's his mission. To put us back on top because we were gutted by the socialists and the commies that slowly took us over. All right, let's go.
If you just look at his rhetoric, if you look at his actions, he has a certain worldview, which is that America has been co-opted and corrupted by the transnational financial elite.
Yep.
Wall Street, the City of London,
the Federal Reserve,
Bank of England, okay, Bank of National Settlements, okay, just the transnational capital.
Transnational cartel,
and
banking cartel.
As a result, America has lost its purity. America fought a revolution to get rid of these guys.
Yeah.
Right? And now they're back and they control the Federal Reserve. They control the military industrial complex. They control the deep state. It's all the same people, really. And so America is forced into these wars overseas. America is forced to allow illegal immigration, which dilutes the purity, the heritage.
And then, it dilutes the water, and these people don't assimilate. And then you have to have a month for this culture and a month for that culture. And your culture is gone because it's all muddied up from everybody else's culture. Look at other countries that are kicking these people out. They're like, get rid of all of them. Go back, go, be gone. We don't have any help for you. This is our country. And I'm not just saying that about America. I'm talking about countries over in Europe, over in that area. Switzerland is like kicking them out because they're following what Poland did. They're doing exactly what Poland did. Poland's like, you know why we don't have any of this problem? Because we don't allow these in here. That's why we don't have this problem. It's asymmetrical warfare. The elites, the people that you don't know about or ever hear about, those are the people that use these type of tactics. Yeah, let's go. Like, share, subscribe. Anyways, but I also agree with what is happening and what he's saying. Somewhere along the lines, we were sold out. I say when the Federal Reserve was founded in 1913 on Jekyll Island, and then shortly after, we went into constant perpetual war. There wasn't really a time after 1914 where we weren't in a state of war. And Trump wants to bring it to an end, which I'm for it. You know what I mean? Maybe this war over is the last one that we're over in. I've said that before. Maybe he's just going to be like, oh, we messed up. Sorry, guys. We're going to pull out $88 billion worth of equipment. Either bring everything back home, including soldiers. Let's go. Come on. Let's go. No more sand in your shorts. Okay? Maybe that's what he's doing. I tend to lean towards that. I want to think that this is exactly when disaster hits, you don't want excuses. You want action and peace of mind. And emergency storable food from My Patriot Supply does just that, delivering over 2,000 calories a day in 8 hearty varieties, good for over 25 years. That's 25 years of protection for when the stinky stuff hits the fan. So scan the QR code up in the corner or click the link down in the description and protect you and your family for when emergency strikes. All orders before 3 p.m. ships same day, and anything over $150 ships for free. Remember, calories equal energy, and energy equals survival. Be ready for anything before anything happens with My Patriot Supply. Now back to the show. What he is doing. I honestly truly believe that, because I've said it before, thinking in his way. Maybe he is, or not in his way, but like trying to think like him. I'm like, maybe he's trying to f this up on purpose. Maybe this is how he's going to get people to be like, you know what, you're f***ing up for us, man. And he's like, yep, you're right, I am. See you later, bye. Maybe he's the one that's going to be like, we don't owe anybody anything anymore. He's already said he's pulling people out of Germany right now. As we speak, he's shutting down bases. He's not fucking playing around, people. This isn't a joke. This is everything I asked for, too. Bring our soldiers home. Why are we policing everybody and not getting paid for it? That's the biggest problem. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you're thinking. Let's get back to this video.
Culture of America. Without identity, without culture, without history, who are you? What are you? Right? These people that promote DEI, that promote woke politics, which intentionally,
the WEF, these organizations are the ones that, pretty much predict everybody's policies and tell everybody in the world what they're going to do, or everybody in the first world, whatever you want. Doesn't matter. These are the policies that get pushed on everybody. So the DEI, what's his name? The owner of BlackRock, Larry Fink, he's even said it. You change people's behavior through policy changes. And that's what they did. They just changed up the policies. And then they had a DEI guy coming through and scoring these people and be like, hey, man, you're going to have a lot of problems if you don't change this, and that. Look at how fucked up shit got. It got pretty bad. Till Trump came.
Brainwashes, indoctrinates young people into believing the most absurd things about themselves and the world, which reduces the capacity of American men to be strong, to be masculine. And so that's what he believes.
Me too. What a surprise.
So then the question then is, okay, if you believe this, you believe that only you can save America, how do you do so? Well, in his first term, he surrounded himself with generals. He surrounded himself with people who knew Washington, D.C. well. And he played by the rules. And what happened? They cheated him, right? 2020.
Of course
he won that election, fair and square. The American people supported everything he did. He worked hard for America.
Oh, you fucking election denier. You little pot stick and election denier. You burn him at the stake. These Democrats are going to have you fucking strung up, bud. Holy shish kebab. How dare you say that? Well, I'm right there with you, brother. I agree with that 100%. They stole it. Look at Fulton County, Georgia. Georgia. They're in huge trouble right now with election fraud and stuff like that. The whole Fannie Willis thing? Yeah. That's all coming to a head right now. There's a lot of things that are happening right now. Like the fraud that was happening out in Minnesota. Guess what? There's a lot of people in trouble for that. Almost 300 and some odd people involved. The names haven't been dropped yet, but people are being arrested and hopefully being sent down to Gitmo. You know what I mean? So we can get some Mo shit done. Let's go.
And his entire cabinet betrayed him. The deep state spent $6 billion to rig that election to steal it from him. And then they staged January 6th, which was a protest.
Here, this guy's on point too.
Gone amok. But they called it an insurrection and they impeached him. And they tried to put him in jail, or at the very least, prevent him from ever standing for re-election again. Yeah. They tried to destroy him. Then after he goes home to Mar-a-Lago, they raided his home.
And then what did he do after that?
That's literally what he believed. Please prevent him from ever.
And then what did he do? He just dismantled all the shit that they believed in. Systematically dismantled it like a G, like Blackbeard himself. It's just absolutely spectacular to see it. Spectacular.
Standing for re-election again. They tried to destroy him. Then after he goes home to Mar-a-Lago, they raided his home. What exactly? For having confidential information? Listen, in Washington, D.C., everything is confidential. If I give you a piece of paper, let's have my name on it, it's confidential, right? And you take it home, well, now you have a state secret sitting in your garage. Joe Biden had state secrets in his garage in Delaware, okay? Hillary Clinton had her own private email server. There was no FBI raid on their homes. Then you have lawfare against Donald Trump. You had like lawsuit after lawsuit. They tried to bankrupt him. They tried to put him in jail. And so Donald Trump recognized that.
Yeah, we even talked about it here with the E. Jane Carroll, or what the it doesn't matter. The crazy person that thinks rape is more of a fantasy than an actual act of violence. But anyways, there's that whole case. There's the whole never filed his papers properly, never paid back the banks, blah, 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 all this shit, fraudulent this, rapist that. Abraham hit me with a wiffle ball bat.
The strategy of trying to work with the deep state, the strategy of trying to confront these guys head on, that's not going to work. So in the second term, he's changed his tact, okay? His strategy is now, I'm going to give these guys all that they want. I'm going to do exactly what they tell me to do, right? And so what the strategy here is actually interesting because in China, there's a strategy that managers use to destroy people who threaten them. And it's called peng sha in Chinese. But the idea of this is you flatter someone.
You know what they're going to do? They're going to puncture your butthole, okay? And then they're going to take your social credits go down. So then you can't even use change. You can't even ask for change.
One to death. Right? So in the Greek world, the worst thing is the idea of hubris. So the gods, who the gods want to destroy, they first make proud, right? And what that means is you put your enemies on a pedestal. You give them whatever they want. You shine a spotlight on them. And then, first of all, whatever happens,
pull the rug right out from underneath them. That's sick and genius.
It's going to blow up in their face, but also they get all the blame for it. Whereas before, in the first term, it was Donald Trump that got all the blame for everything that happened, right?
How very true. Thank you guys so very much for liking, watching, loving everything we do here at the OTPH Show. You know, raw stealing, sex appeal, gravy train on biscuit wheels. So get on board because we're a movement that's going to the top with your love and support. And thank you so very much for all of your love and support. Best way to support the show is to click the link down in the description or scan the QR code. Best way to support the show for free is to like, share, and subscribe and watch this video right here. Love your neighbor, love your family. Most importantly, love you. You can't love the other two without you. I love you. God bless you. And I'll see you on the next one. Did you watch this video yet? This one right here. All right. I got to go. Bye.